Alright, so today's the day I do my video on all my equipment on my reef tank, my 55 gallon. We already went over the rack and stuff like that. So the top T5 is it's a dual T5 with 10,000 K and antennic. I think it's a 420 antennic. And then also I have my Corella 3, then my Corella 1050, which would be the 3 model, but it puts out a little bit more gallons per hour, and it operates at a 5 watts as opposed to the old school, which operates at I think 10 watts, so half the energy it uses. I got my Ebo-Jager right here. It's a Model TS, 150 watt. On this side over here in the dark, I have Marineland. I think that's 100 watt. Mag float, gotta represent. Anyway, being a little bit of a dork right there. In my sump, I have a cheap ass skimmer that I got from eBay. Don't go to any of the shops on eBay for cheap equipment. Don't go cheap ever on your saltwater equipment. It's a big investment, I know, but if you take your time and you do your research and get the right stuff, it's so much worth it. So that's my skimmer that's currently not working. Because actually the air intake constantly gets clogged with salt corrosion. That's just a fluorescent hood that a buddy of mine hooked me up with, and I threw a power glow in there. This overflow box right here that I have on the side is from eShops. Awesome job, awesome shipping. Got it exactly when they said I would. I had problems with this. It came with a hard plastic tube that came over, and you'll see this in other videos on YouTube, I'm sure, if you do your research on this eShops overflow. But the hard plastic tube will eventually build up air bubbles in the top here, and what happens is that air bubble will eventually get so large it'll break the siphon rather. And what I did was I had some leftover 1-inch Eheim green hose, and I cut it about the same length, and I ran my air tube up in there and sucked the siphon out, and then I've never ever had any problems in it. You can see right now I don't have any air bubbles in there. It works great. It's never ever broke suction. And then it's got the biological filter right here, which is great. So yeah, definitely the eShops overflow is a great investment. I have never regretted getting that. Here's my little Marina temperature gauge, and it's been really warm out, so my tank is super hot right now, and I am really kind of upset about that. What I do with that is actually a little way to get away with not having a chiller is I freeze cups of purified water in the freezer, and then I run the cups under hot water just to get that outside edge defrosted, and I actually dump them right down into my return area of my sump, and that actually basically creates a chiller, and that gives it enough time to actually mix together in there really nice and cool your tank down a little bit. That's for emergencies only, though. I don't really recommend it, but you can do that with dechlorinated, purified, or just any sort of purified water. And anyway, so on my return from my MaxiJet 1200, on my return above the water line, just in case of power outage, I drilled several holes there we go. I drilled several holes, and that way if there is a power outage, instead of it siphoning all the water back down into my sump, it actually breaks the vacuum up top there, just above the water line, and spills that, or sucks all the air into the line and keeps it from siphoning back in there. So that's how I remedied that. I got a lot of algae going on in here. Sorry, the tank's a little dirty. It's due for a clean. Then underneath here, I got a lot of my equipment. This is canister filter. A lot of people are getting away from these as far as saltwater tank care goes. They're going with primarily just the sumps. I always found go big or go home. I used to run, I had my 90-gallon freshwater discus tank, and I ran a hang-on tank, power heads. I had tons of flow, or not tons of flow, but I had a lot of water movement in that tank. And it always seems to work better if you just, like I said, go big or go home. So I got the canister filter as my mechanical filtration, and I use phosphane reactors, nitrate in one level. I don't use any biological because I already have that all with my rock, and then I have some filter floss on either ends to get that fine particulate matter out of there. And then up top there, you can kind of see it, Excella. My friend got this offline from another guy. Then he bumped up to some other style. He had some other style power head, and this actually didn't work with it, but it works really well for that Corella 1050 model. And there's my power strip, and I use Kent products right here. I've found that they work really well. They're a perfect dose, but if you're going to do a larger style setup, I would definitely recommend going with a calcium reactor and stuff like that. And that makes a really big difference and works a lot better for the SPS, LPS stuff. But that's pretty much it. That's my 55-gallon equipment and all my stuff that I got running on it so far. I hope to add some of the Doc Foster's LEDs to it later, not the whole unit, but I'll be getting a canopy later on to attach the individual LED strips to it. And then, actually, well, here, since I'm here, this is my little, this is my little micro environment for my teas. I got a heat rock here in here just in case it does get cold. I plug it in and it keeps it warmer, but you can't really see. But it stays 80 degrees in there, and it's nice and dark. The teas like it really well. You know, crickets, fruit flies, distilled water, and yeah, that's about it. I saw a guy on YouTube actually using a syringe to water his tea slings, and if you want to spend the money, that's fine. But what I do is I take a straw and just stick it in here and dip like a tiny little bit of the end of the straw, and then create a vacuum at the top on my finger, and I get it close to the substrate inside the container, obviously, and I just let a couple drips out, like one or two depending upon which, for my B. Smithy. Look how tiny that thing is. I mean, that thing is, she is so small. Super cute. But yeah, I just do a drop or two, and then that's it. I mean, but this is where I keep my teas. Plenty of humidity. I block it in so it's a little insulated, so it keeps the temperature nice in there. It stays nice and humid in their containers, and yeah, so it works out well. So anyway, I just thought I'd show you that since I was doing the whole rundown and I didn't show you the other half of the cupboard. You guys might think, what's going on over there? So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Keep watching for my updates. Hopefully I'll be getting more teas coming up here, and I'm thinking a month. And there's a few specimens that I want to get from Pet Center USA. There's also a couple that I couldn't find there that I'm probably going to go to Ken the Bug Guy. And then if I can, I would really like to possibly even get some from Rob C, because he's got some awesome specimens. He's got some great footage on them, and they're just really healthy, good-looking animals, and someone who's knowledgeable about that sort of thing, you definitely want to invest in some of their stock, because it's well cared for, well kept, and healthy. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed my 55-gallon rundown of my equipment, and I'll be posting more videos in the future. Until then, happy YouTubing.